Good afternoon, honorable guests, respectable speakers, and delegates. A very warm welcome to the 12th edition of the CSR Summit, India's leading CSR and sustainability platform. My name is Uttara Iyer, and I am a portfolio and program manager at Social Alpha. I am your host for this exciting and inspiring summit, and over the next few hours, we will witness some amazing discussions around the broad theme of resurgent India, leapfrogging development through innovation and entrepreneurship. I would now like to invite the dignitaries for the inaugural session onto the stage. First, request Dr. C.N. Ashwath Narayan, Honorable Minister, Electronics, IT, Biotechnology and Science and Technology, and Minister for Higher Education and Skill Development, to take a seat on the dais. Welcome, sir. A round of applause, please. Request Mr. Mohandas Pai, Chairman, RN Capital and Manipal Global Foundation, to take a seat on the dais. Welcome, sir. Request Mr. Prashant Prakash, Partner, Axel Partners, to take a seat on the dais. And now request Rusen Kumar, Founder, India CSR Network, to take a seat on the dais. Now that the dignitaries are seated, let's begin today's program. We will start with the welcome note by Mr. Prashant Prakash, ace investor and partner at Axel Partners. Mr. Prashant Prakash is one of the torchbearers for startup culture in India. He started investing in high-caliber startups as early as 2004. He started his investing career as a co-founder at Erasmic. Prior to that, he co-founded Netcraft. At Axel, his primary focus is on online marketplaces, B2B, and SaaS. He has led investments in 30 Indian technology startups and serves as a board member in 16 companies. He has led seed or early stage investments in category-defining companies like Flipkart, Ola, Swiggy, Urban Company, Book My Show, Cult, Freshworks, Bluestone, Blackbuck, Portia, etc. He is actively involved in social entrepreneurship ventures that work to improve education and the quality of environment in our country. He serves as co-founder of ACT Grants, chairman of United Way, Shikshana Foundation, Krishi Kalpa Foundation. He's the chairman for Vision Group for Startups, Department of Electronics, IT, BT, Government of Karnataka. He's also the board member of National Startup Council. I would now like to invite Mr. Prashant Prakash to the podium for the welcome note. Would also request Apresh to join the dignitaries on the stage.
I would like to acknowledge the members on the dais, Dr. C.N. Ashwath Narayan, Honorable Electronics, IT, BT, Skill Development, and Minister for Higher Education and Entrepreneurship. His mission has been to drive inclusive and equitable growth, and a great champion of that in our state. Shri Mohandas Pai, co-founder of Manipal and chairman RN Capital, an early founder of the philanthropic culture in our city, right? And we are ever grateful for you, sir, for that. Mr. Rusen Kumar, founder India CSR Network, and Apresh Mishra, founder CSR Network. CSR committee members, chief sustainability leaders, corporate CSR heads, NGO leaders, startups, investors, dignitaries from both the government and the media. So it's my pleasure to welcome you all to the 12th edition of the CSR Leadership Summit. This is the largest gathering of the brightest minds who are in the development sector in our country. And it gives me great honor and great pride that we've been able to do this in Bangalore, the startup city, and as Mr. Mohandas Pai calls, the capital of our startup nation. And it's very apt because the theme of this year's conference is Resurgent India, leapfrogging development through innovation and entrepreneurship. So what better place than Bangalore for this theme? Startups today are impacting every facet of our lives. their innovation and technology prowess is helping bridge the gap when it comes to education, healthcare, and environment. And in a way, this is what is going to make our nation resilient. This is a statistic that a lot of us might not know, right? So we think startups are involved in food delivery, startups are involved in ride sharing, and these are the common things that we understand. But almost 50% of the startups founded in the last 5 years are focused on areas that are very intimate to what we do in the development sector. And this is where there is this convergence of the two worlds now coming in, right? Startups today are solving problems beyond the urban India, beyond the 5 million people that we are familiar with in our metro cities. They are focusing on impacting lives of the next 500 million Indians whose challenges and needs are very different, and a majority of them are dependent directly or indirectly on agriculture. And in agriculture, there are a mountain of problems, and this is one area that has eluded a solution, and folks like Mr. Mohandas Pai keeps generating statistics on how it actually holds us back as a country. And he'll reel out some most, and there's just a little bit of a side remark here. I maneuvered to talk before Mr. Mohandas Pai and put a few statistics out there, because if after him, I'll not be able to do anything here. So anyway, so there are hundreds of agri startups today who, with their innovations, are helping in areas such as precision farming, improving yields, helping in automated commodity grading, new aggregation and distribution platforms for supply chain capabilities, right? And this ability for us to impact 100 to 150 million families by infusing what I call as startup thinking and startup culture. So what is that? How is startup thinking? Why should we in the development sector worry about startup thinking and startup culture? It's because it is a new paradigm. And there are 2-3 key hallmarks of this paradigm. One, bias for action. Second, being able to iterate fast and get to product market fit fast. And third, being able to leverage capital from multiple sources and scale and do what we call as blitz scaling, hyper scaling. I think a lot of these, the time has come where our development sector has to derive these lessons. And the great news is that because of this convergence I was talking about, a lot of the startups want to work with, there is a synergy that is developing, especially in areas such as agriculture and health. So I don't think startups will be able to work without partnering with various forms of the development sector and with the government. So these areas are going to converge. So this is a great opportunity for all of us to take advantage of it. At ACT, we started out as a not-for-profit foundation where we brought together startups, venture funds, investment bankers, initially to fight the pandemic. But what we saw is the impact that we were able to create, both in terms of the capital we were able to mobilize and the speed at which we were able to solve problems when it comes to the pandemic. I'll just give you one example. We were able to, within 30 days, mobilize 50,000 concentrators across the country. And the entire government of India did about 30,000. So the power of the private sector. But still, we leverage the government for distribution. You still need the government. But I think the ability to mobilize capital and I'll give you an example. So how did we do that? Amazon was able to help actually provide support with some of their air logistics to ship some of these concentrators from across different parts of the world. So I think there is leverage in these startup platforms, which have, like I said, which have been used mostly to solve problems for the top 20 million people in this country. So the next 300-400 million people will in some way benefit, and I think we have to find ways to partner with them. So I'm sure we are all going to benefit significantly from the discussions which are going to be in areas that I was talking about. You will hear from people who are already engaging with startups and working with startups here in Bangalore. You will also hear about new models and new business model innovations that can bring these two sectors together. So I would like to thank our partners, the organizers of the summit, who have managed to pull this off. And when was the last time we were all able to meet personally and do this? A big round of applause for the organizers. I'm sure this brings a lot of happiness and joy. But let's continue to be safe and healthy. Thank you, and thank you for your participation.
Thank you for the inspiring words. It's indeed great to hear about the convergence of startup culture with the development sector, and look forward to seeing how this shapes up in India. We next have the agenda setting by Mr. Hussain Kumar, founder, India CSR Network. Mr. Kumar is a visionary knowledge entrepreneur, author, and thought leader on CSR. I would now request Mr. Hussain Kumar to share a few words on the expectations from the summit and set the agenda for the day.
धन्यवाद। सबको सादर अभिवादन। देश के विभिन्न हिस्सों से पधारे सेवा क्षेत्र और कॉरपोरेट सामाजिक उत्तरदायित्व क्षेत्र के जो अग्रणी विद्वान हैं, कार्यकर्ता हैं और विचारक हैं, उन सब का इस फिजिकल कॉन्फ्रेंस में 2 साल के बाद आप सबका तहे दिल से हार्दिक स्वागत और अभिनंदन करता हूं। आज की सभा के मुख्य अतिथि हम सबके आदरणीय डॉक्टर अश्वत्थ नारायण जी, ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर फॉर गवर्नमेंट ऑफ कर्नाटका, ऑनरेबल मोहनदास पाई जी, द ग्रेट एंटरप्रेन्योर ऑफ इंडिया, प्रशांत प्रकाश जी। एक्चुअली प्रशांत जी इज द डिजाइनर ऑफ दिस कॉन्फ्रेंस। इस सभा को तैयार करने में अपरेश मिश्रा और प्रशांत जी ने अद्भुत योगदान दिया है। मैं उनका हार्दिक स्वागत और अभिनंदन करता हूं। मेरे मित्र, कलीग, मेरे साथी अपरेश मिश्रा। आज का दिन बहुत विशिष्ट है। 2 साल ऑनलाइन कॉन्फ्रेंस के बाद हम लोगों को प्रत्यक्ष रूप से आप सबका साक्षात्कार होने का अवसर मिल रहा है और बहुत से कॉरपोरेट्स उनकी पॉलिसीज़ रिस्ट्रिक्शन के कारण उपस्थित नहीं हो पाए। फिर भी जो उपस्थिति आज हमने CSR सेक्टर के लिए जो प्रतिबद्धता दिखाई है अपनी उपस्थिति देकर, ये बहुत ही काबिले तारीफ़ है। हमने बहुत कुछ पिछले 2 सालों में भारत में बदलते हुए देखा है और आज भारत एक नए मुकाम पर है। एक नया मिशन है आज सबके पास, एक नया उद्देश्य है सबके पास और सबके मन में है, जैसे कि कॉन्फ्रेंस का एजेंडा है, एक उछाल के साथ हम भारत में प्रगति को स्थापित करें, प्रगति की भावना को स्थापित करें और जो स्टार्टअप कल्चर पिछले 10 सालों में भारत ने जो विकसित किया है, इसने युवाओं में खासकर अपने देश के प्रति, अपने समाज के प्रति, अपने लोगों के प्रति जो संवेदना विकसित हुई है युवाओं में विशेषकर, और ये गांव से लेकर शहर तक के युवाओं में, ये बहुत ही अभूतपूर्व परिवर्तन है राष्ट्र के विकास में। मैंने ये इंडिया CSR की स्थापना पिछले 11 वर्ष पहले की थी छत्तीसगढ़ के एक छोटे से शहर में, और मेरा सौभाग्य है कि मैं आप सब लोगों के सामने मुझे खड़ा होने का सौभाग्य प्राप्त हुआ है। जब इस कार्य को मैंने प्रारंभ किया तो मैं भारत के किसी भी आदमी के, किसी भी कारपोरेट को मैं नहीं जानता था, लेकिन इस कार्य में जो पोटेंशियल है, जो सच्चाई है और जो मांग है समाज की, वो CSR ने पूरी की। एक सामाजिक क्षेत्र को एक नए ढंग से प्रस्तुत करना। कारपोरेट को पहले बहुत ही हेय दृष्टि से देखा जाता था, उनको एक समाज में एक सामाजिक प्रतिष्ठा उतनी नहीं थी जितनी उनको उनके कार्यों के लिए होनी चाहिए। सो कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लॉ के बाद से जो हमने कारपोरेट को जो सम्मान दिया है, वो पिछले 10 सालों की हमारी अभूतपूर्व विकास की यात्रा में कदम है। मैं सैकड़ों CSR परियोजनाओं को उसके स्थान पर जाकर, जहाँ पर एग्जीक्यूट हो रहा है, वो देखने का मुझे अवसर प्राप्त होता रहा है, और मैं ये इस यात्रा को निरंतर करते रहता हूँ। उस आधार पर मुझे ये अनुभव होता है कि भारत की जो समृद्धि है वो दिन ब दिन प्रगाढ़ हो रही है, और सोशल सेक्टर के प्रति जो लोगों का रुझान पैदा हुआ है, ये भारत के विकास के लिए एक अद्भुत और अतुलनीय योगदान देने वाला क्षेत्र बन के भविष्य में उभरेगा। मुझे विश्वास है कि इस कॉन्फ्रेंस से जो चर्चा परिचर्चा के विषय में जो अवरुद्ध हो गया था, वो पुनः हम ओपन करेंगे डिस्कशंस के लिए। इस साल 2022 में हम लोगों को जोड़ने के लिए वेरियस कॉन्फ्रेंसेस अलग अलग राज्यों के स्तर पर करेंगे। हम शीघ्र ही, परसों ही बिहार सरकार के साथ एक कॉन्फ्रेंस कर रहे हैं। शीघ्र ही हम राजस्थान में एक नया कॉन्फ्रेंस लेके आ रहे हैं। हम जल्द ही जनवरी में डायलॉग पालघर करेंगे, जो महाराष्ट्र के एक बहुत ही मुंबई के समीप के क्षेत्र है, जो अत्यधिक पिछड़ा हुआ माना जाता है। इस तरह हम लोगों को इस समारोह के माध्यम से, सभा के माध्यम से जोड़ने का प्रयास करेंगे। और सबसे बड़ी जो प्रगति है वो है आपस में मिलना। आपस में मिलने से समस्याओं का न केवल समाधान होता है, बल्कि समस्याओं को से लड़ने का भी साहस पैदा होता है। मुझे आशा और विश्वास है कि हम आज इस कॉन्फ्रेंस के माध्यम से एक्शनेबल चीज़ों को एडॉप्ट करें, और जब तक हम उसको विचारों को कार्य में परिवर्तित नहीं करेंगे, तब तक मिलने और जुलने का उतना फल प्राप्त नहीं होगा। इस सभा के माध्यम से हम ये कॉरपोरेट से निवेदन करते हैं कि वे कॉरपोरेट टू कॉरपोरेट कोलैबोरेशन भी करें, सरकार के साथ कोलैबोरेशन करें, सिविल सोसाइटी के साथ कोलैबोरेशन करें। और हमारे पास जो 2-3 चुनौतियां हैं जो मैं इस सभा के माध्यम से देश के समक्ष रखना चाहता हूं। हमारा जो CSR डेटा है, CSR की जो अपडेट्स आ रहे हैं वो 1 साल बाद आता है, एनुअल रिपोर्ट के बाद। सो हम क्यों ना ऐसा सिस्टम विकसित करें भारत में कि हम क्वार्टरली डेटा रिलीज कर सकें ट्रेंड का, स्पेंडिंग ट्रेंड का, तो हमें सोशल सेक्टर को समझने में काफ़ी मदद मिल सकती है। दूसरी जो हमारे पास ड्रॉबैक है इंडिया में, FCRA का जो कंट्रीब्यूशन आ रहा है इंडिया में, उसको लेकर कोई ट्रांसपेरेंसी नहीं है। वो फंड हमारे देश के लोगों के पर्पस से भारत में वो फंड पर्पसफुली आता है NGO को, लेकिन लास्ट ईयर करीब 60,000 करोड़ इंडिया में इन्वेस्ट किया गया है, लेकिन उसकी कोई भी न रिपोर्ट पब्लिक डोमेन में है और न ही ऐसी कोई स्पेंडिंग रिपोर्ट जनता के समक्ष उपलब्ध नहीं है। तीसरी जो कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग को लेकर CSR प्रोफेशनल्स और सोशल सेक्टर के लीडर्स को अब नए भारत की जो आकांक्षा है उसके अनुरूप हमें ट्रेंड करना पड़ेगा। लेकिन अभी ये काम बहुत महंगा है, हम इसको बहुत ही प्रोफेशनली डील कर रहे हैं। सो प्रोफेशनल्स को ट्रेंड करना, इस काम को हमें ज़्यादा सहज बनाना पड़ेगा और थोड़ा सुलभ बनाना पड़ेगा, और नए इंस्टीट्यूट को इसके प्रति कोलैबोरेशन करने की मुझे आवश्यकता महसूस होती है। इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ मैं आप सबका धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करता हूं कि आप सब ने इस सभा में शिरकत की, और दिन भर की जो परिचर्चा है वो निस्संदेह ही बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है, और हम ऑडियंस से भी निवेदन करेंगे कि वो चर्चा परिचर्चा में जहां संभव हो सके वो पार्टिसिपेट करें। आप सबका सादर धन्यवाद, सबको प्रणाम।
Thank you so much, Rusain Kumar ji. Friends, our next guest needs no introduction. We have amongst us Mr. Mohandas Pai, Chairman RN Capital and Manipal Global Foundation. Mr. Pai is a Padma Shri awardee and a former CFO and board member at Infosys. He is also the co-founder of Akshay Patra, the world's largest midday meal program, and works actively with government and regulators on policy recommendations and guidelines. He has served as the chairman of the board of SEBI and is now a board member of the National Stock Exchange in India. I would invite Mr. Pai to share a few words with us.
Honorable Minister, my friend Prashant, dignitaries in the dais, ladies and gentlemen. It is good to be here to talk about something different from business and startups. I'm very happy you're all here. Many years ago, Parliament thought it fit to impose upon corporates a CSR obligation. I was one of those who criticized it. Maybe I was wrong, because I think corporates have done a great job. Every year they spend between 18 to 20,000 crores on CSR. And this year it may grow by 15% because corporate profits are at an all-time high. And this year the pre-tax profits could be close to 15 lakh crores in India, especially for listed companies. So there is a very large corporate CSR market coming up. When you talk about CSR, you need to have a delivery mechanism, you need to have people who ideate, and you need to have people who fund. Now, corporates typically have a budget to fund, and for corporates, it is an asset allocation problem. If you are an investor, you understand what is asset allocation. If I have 5 crores, 10 crores, 100 crores, how do I allocate the project money to projects? And I don't believe corporates should set up large organizations to run programs. They should not. That's not their job. What they should do is to allocate the capital and find out areas where they could spend the money, then identify agencies to execute this project and provide governance. Now, on the other side of the equation, there are 30 lakh NGOs in this country. I mean, every state has an NGO. Maybe 100,000 NGOs are active, or do something of some size. And very few have reached the size of Akshaya Patra. Akshaya Patra is the world's largest midday meal program. We started in Bangalore, trying to feed 1,500 children a day. Now they feed 18 lakh children a day. They already delivered more than 360 crore meals. And in COVID, they delivered 20 crore meals. They had 60 kitchens, which can supply 1 crore meals, cooked meals a day. The capacity built about 20 years. It's become a very big national program. So when you have the NGOs, you've got to identify the NGOs and check up where they can work and what they can do. And then, when you pick projects, I would urge you to consider a project which can scale up and impact the largest number of people so that you focus. Then projects to impact people in a neighborhood. For every corporate organization, your neighborhood is important. Where you have got a factory, where you've got an office, you have to impact the people positively because they are in the immediate vicinity of your place and they need to be good to you, and you have to be good and demonstrate you're a good corporate citizen. I think that's extremely important because, like Ruzen Kumar said, society should feel kindly towards corporates. In India, we have this very bad socialistic notion of Nehru that profits are bad, corporates are bad, which is a total negation of what corporates stand for. Corporates are important to create jobs, to pay taxes, etc. And they need to impact people in those areas. And in every state where you are, you've got to impact people positively. Because the minister will come and ask you, as the minister, I want something done for my constituency and my state. And you have to oblige him. Because why? He's the people's representative. He knows what people want, and you are part of the constituency, and you have an obligation to him. You can't say, no, I'm going to put something in Delhi. I'm in Bangalore, because why Delhi? Because my boss stays in Delhi, and his wife has got a NGO, and I want to put money there. It can't work. So you have to do this, the asset allocation problem. And then when you pick up issues, I would like to commend Prashant Prakash's model. I'm very fascinated. I've seen work in this area for more than 20 years, but I'm very fascinated with Prashant's idea. In COVID, Prashant got together a group of people who gave money just because Prashant asked. He created a model. He worked with the government, and it is the most successful CSR model for a group of companies in India. I think he gave away lakhs of COVID shots. He brought in more ventilators in the government of India, which is very, very unique. And he did very unique things, and people poured money into him. He still got some money in the bank. That's what he told me. But he's very successful. He gave reports. He used technology, and it worked very well. So what is the rationale there? It's an aggregation model. It's an aggregation model. You have NGOs, you have corporates. Corporates may have small check. You need an aggregator, a platform, and Prashant created the platform. And the platform is very clear. You give money to the platform, they have a common objective, and then they find people to execute, and then they distribute. I think that's some brilliant model that maybe you have to come together like Ruzen Kumar said, to find out this kind of a big thing to do and to implement that. I'll give another example of the Prashant Prakash model. We believe that farmers should double the income. Our Prime Minister told us. Why? Because farmers make up 41% of India's population. They depend on 17% of GDP, growing at 3 to 4%. Their per capita income is only 60,000 rupees. And a large number of people. We've got to get them off the land. The biggest challenge for farming is when they sell something, they don't get the market price. For rice and wheat, you get MSP, near to market price. Fruits and vegetables, you don't get it. Animal husbandry, you don't get it. And many things else. So what did Prashant do? Krishi Kalpa works to connect farmers to markets. And we got a fantastic guy called CM Patil at Dynamo. I don't know whether CM is here. What he did was identify a whole lot of agri-tech startups. There are 1,250 agri-tech startups. 250 of them have got funded and done reasonably well. And they created through an app, an ecosystem and a supply chain where a farmer can come and put his goods on the app, and they connect them to markets, and then they pay them very well. They come to your place and pick it up and supply. They do the grading, sorting, and give you value. Now, for a farmer, the produce that is there has to be sold. It's perishable. By putting it up on the platform, you know when to sell, and you get the price within 48 hours. The money comes to your bank account. It's fantastic. So by that, in just about 3 months, starting an experiment, more than 6 crores has been sold, and 1 crore extra money has come to them, 20% more. And it's come to the bank. Now, if farmers get 20% more for what they're selling, they don't need subsidies. Farmers are experts. They know what to do. They're survivors. They don't need subsidies. Just because they don't get the market price, they subsidize the consumer there to do. So this aggregation model works. Now, if this 6 crores in a year becomes 2,000 crores, and 400 crores more goes to farmers. Look at the remarkable impact in their lives. Our Chief Minister was very excited, sir, to listen about this, and he told the Prime Minister, and he mentioned about a model in his constituency, and he told us that the Prime Minister has called them for a meeting to talk to them, because for the Prime Minister, doubling farmers' income is very important. And for that, getting the market price is already there. We pay the price, they don't get it, and that's what should be done. And I think that's a very important thing. We're starting another program, Prashant, and Prashant is a part of it. That's why I call it the Prashant Prakash model. How do you solve the problem of poverty? Poverty is a lack of purchasing power. I got purchasing power because I'm educated, I got a skill, I got an asset, I got something which gives me money. So I have earning. But you are a farmer or you're an unskilled person who don't have the skills, perishable labor, no assets. So you are poor. So we have to give you purchasing power. And the best way to give purchasing power is not to give a subsidy and think, give a DBT like Prime Minister did. Prime Minister, sir, has transferred 19.5 lakh crores. 19.5 lakh crores in 7.5 years by DBT directly to people in this country. It's unbelievable what has been done by Prime Minister Modi. And so we said, if you look at the income tax statistics, Prashant, there are 8 crore tax filers. 5 crores pay some amount of tax. Others are just filing at the margin. So we said if 1 crore of them adopt one family for 5 years, and transfer money to the bank account, 3,000 to 5,000 rupees a month, for 5 years continuously, in the name of the woman of the house, it will transform the family. Because the mother or the woman of the house will take care of children, educate them, and take care of food on the table. They know the money is coming, and it's fantastic. It's unbelievable. Do you know the total quantum of subsidies spent in India? 7 lakh crores. 2.5 lakh crores for food, 1.5 lakh crores for fertilizer, that is 4 lakh crores, 1 lakh crore for power, that is 5 lakh crore, that MNREGA program is 1 lakh crore, 6 lakh crore, and 1 lakh crore for interest subsidy and for water subsidy. If the 7 lakh crores can be given in the form of a monthly 5,000 rupees for 1 crore family, that is 5,000 crores, for 2 crore families, 10,000 crores, and for 4 crores, 20,000 crores. 4 crore families into 4, 16 crore people will be benefited. You can send it for 6 crore families, give them 5,000, DBT, they will decide what to do. Of course, Prime Minister has eliminated, sir, nearly 2 lakh crores of wastage in that 19.5 lakh crores by sending money directly. It is there on his webpage, the data is there. So we're starting a DBT program. And the ambition is, by 2030, we get 1 crore families adopted. So we have, on the one side, people will give money, other side, people who need the money, and we have a platform in between. The money goes through, and we pay a little bit of administrative charges, and we can solve the problem of poverty. So I want to end by saying, it's time for many of you to come together and do the aggregator model. Find out large themes. Identify somebody like a Prashant. We can't send him away from Bangalore, Sir Hussain. Don't call him to Delhi. We need him here to do good work. Maybe Atul is here. Where's Atul? Nudge Foundation. Atul is here. He's a brilliant guy. Create our man is here. He's another brilliant guy. So why don't you get it all together in aggregation, get hold of NGOs in every state or every taluka who can execute, and they can market and get to founders, and all of you come together and say, these are the 5 big things that we need to do, aggregate and work it out. And lastly, we have to help the people of our country because it's our obligation. Many of us have won what Manish Sabharwal calls the Owain lottery. We are born to good families who gave us education, and we are reasonably well off because our parents gave us education and worked hard. The many who are unfortunate, we owe it to them. And in our culture, the person who receives something from you is doing you a favor because philanthropy is an obligation. Philanthropy is an obligation. You have to give some money for that you earn. In our culture, every day, when the woman in the house used to cook the food before she ate, People used to come and stand and say, Om Bhikshandehi, she has to give the food, and then only she can eat. Because in our culture, it said we have an obligation to support everybody, and that obligation we have to do, and if all of us do together, we can help India make better and have the new India of our dreams. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for those inspiring words. Those numbers about Akshay Patra are simply astounding, and hope this summit inspires people to work towards creating such aggregator models and creating more social and economic impact. We now have the inaugural address by our guest of honor, Dr. C.N. Ashwath Narayan, Honorable Minister, Electronics, IT, Biotechnology, and Science and Technology, and Minister for Higher Education and Skill Development, Government of Karnataka. Sir, I request you to please say a few words.
Namaskara. Good afternoon to all the delegates who have come from different parts of the country. For the 12th edition of the CSR Leadership Summit. On this occasion, I would like to acknowledge the presence of the founder, the CSR India Network founder, Rusen Kumar, and co-founder, Mr. Mishra ji, and my good friend, my well-wisher, who works tirelessly for the welfare of the society and as well as an entrepreneur, and our chairman for the Vision Group for Startups, Prashant Prakash. You just heard Mr. Mohandas Pai. The very presence of Mohandas Pai makes a big difference. He creates vibrance, he creates inspiration, motivation. He can inspire, motivate any given situation, any place. He can connect, I can make things happen. And he has got the fire and the intention and the will to do a lot of things. He's been encouraging, he's been a biggest motivator, inspired, and he himself has done a lot of good things, not just because when he has earned money, even from the day, as a beginner, as a student, as a student leader, in all stages of life. That has been his culture. Culture to give, culture to encourage, culture to cooperate, collaborate, work together. Team culture. See, it is ultimate the team. We should know how to work as in a team. As an individual, yes, we'll do. But as a team, we need to work. So the very purpose of coming together, the very purpose of organizing this CSR is to bring in the team culture, aggregation, what Mohandas Pai was mentioning. So on this occasion, I would like to recognize the presence of all the delegates and the leaders who have been working in various sectors, doing a remarkable job, making a big difference, reaching out to the society, and being a bridge between the government or the companies and the society. That's the most important thing, where we need to care for the have and have-nots. Have-nots, from the haves to have-nots, is the most important thing, which has been for the equitable and inclusive society, to give an opportunity to make in a better future. So probably in this direction, you have many ideas, many thoughts. Probably this event, the theme of this event is the Resurgent India through innovation and entrepreneurship. Probably this is the way forward. As a social sector, we can't think that we can be away from all these things. We need to connect with the most dynamic and the present relevant methods, how we can work more effectively, how effectively we can connect, how easily we can do things. With a small money, we need to make a big difference. And we need to measure how much of difference has been made. That's very relevant. Today's startups have been the way forward. Many of the challenges which each of the person has faced in their lives, they've taken it as a challenge. They want to bring solutions so that nobody else should face that kind of challenges or the problems. It is need to make a better place to live. That is the very thought of the startup concept started, to address the problems and challenges being faced by the society and as well as individually. So in this direction, the startups emerged and it has become a biggest solution. How much of difference has been made, we could see in many of the sectors. Many of the sectors, the startups have made a huge difference, which we could see in the state of Karnataka itself. As a representative, as a minister, I could see when working along with all the entrepreneurs, I get chatted up. I'll be in a total different world. When I work along with them, I get into different world. So getting this best practices along with the government is the most important, and government connecting with the entrepreneurs as well as the CSR is the most important way forward. In this direction, we have been working very closely with all the NGOs. We have brought the NGOs also. We are connected with the NGOs through our various departments. See, earlier the government is to work in silos. The government itself, without connecting with the various departments, each department works in silos. The first thing what we did is to bring all departments convergence, collaborate with each other. Ultimately, the government is there for the society, is there for the people. But if, as a government, we need to be much more effective. We need to be effective. So to make it much more effective, what are the measures to be taken is very important. Probably in that direction, what is the target? The government comes out with many schemes and many proposals. We come out with many proposals. How effectively it has been implemented is the most important part. So taking that very effectively through technology and bringing the various groups working in those areas, the civil society is there, NGOs are there, the private companies with CSR, they've been working, and the government is also working with various departments. Somehow each of us are working in isolation. So we need to connect between the different departments and different societies. All of us need to come together to effectively perform. So in this direction, we constituted a task force. A task force has been constituted to promote the skill and entrepreneurship. Skill and entrepreneurship task force has been constituted, and already for past 5 months, the committee, the task force has gone into many details and has come out with an excellent proposal and a proposal how to go forward, how effectively to work and coordinate with each other to create 1 crore jobs. To create 1 crore jobs, as a proposal has been worked out. In this 1 crore jobs, the existing jobs will be strengthened. The existing jobs will be strengthened and new jobs will be created, particularly in IT, ITS, digital sector, agriculture sector, manufacturing sector, artisans, hospitality. These are the most important areas which we have taken up, and we are working together. And for this, we are connecting, we have brought all the departments from primary education to higher education, agriculture department, horticulture department, industry, IT, BT, all possible departments, social sectors, all possible sectors have been brought together and under one roof, under one organization. And even the NGOs, whoever is working in different areas, they have also been brought together. And along with this, the effective implementation of data capturing. Our government, we are working as a startup government also. Many of the things I was just seeing, we wanted to present to the best practices to the Prime Minister, our Chief Minister will be presenting the best practices of the state of Karnataka. When I saw all the best practices, it is related to only IT, sir. It is only app related, Kutumba, or the crop survey, or the digital learning, or the startups in Karnataka, how the startup has been successful in the state of Karnataka. These are the best practices which we could share. The Kutumba is something, it's a dynamic status. We can capture all possible details, and all departments can effectively work on that platform. Kutumba is a platform where all the details are captured from all different departments on a dynamic status. The dynamic status has been very well captured, and effectively the government can perform in seconds and minutes. Any disbursement, any work to be done, we can do it in a tip of our fingers. Earlier concept we used to talk about delivering the services to the doorstep. It is not the doorstep. We can deliver at their fingertips. Now it is in the fingertips, not in the doorsteps. So we can effectively cater every possible service, let it be education, let it be healthcare, let it be government services, let it be commerce, buying, selling, any possible services. So IT enablement, innovation, entrepreneurship is most important. We can facilitate and we can change how the people can live, and we can really empower each and every person how to take care of himself. First and foremost, my basic understanding is to create a lot of awareness among the people. We need to create a lot of awareness. What needs to be done is the most important thing. After conveying people what needs to be done, we should tell them very strongly how to take care of himself. If you are able to convince him how to take care of himself, what needs to be done in the hour of this hour, what needs to be done in this time, what he's supposed to do is most important. Unless he doesn't understand what needs to be done, our efforts will be a time being a cosmetic or a lip service or a temporary service which is not sustainable. To make it sustainable, we need to put all our energies together. I should go, we should come. So I should go and we should come. And we need to work as one and for one purpose, to help our people, to empower and make sure that India is the best place to live. India is the most progressive society with complete social inclusion. It is not just, we have created so much of asset which is only for few people. It should be for everybody. And that kind of vibrant society need to be built. Probably innovation and entrepreneurship is the most appropriate, and that's the way forward. In the state of Karnataka, we have been known as the most innovative state, and we have been known as the startup state. In the entire country, in the entire world, we have been well recognized for this. And of the unicorns now been generated or been created, now have been established, among them 60% of the unicorns are from Bengaluru and Karnataka. 60% of the unicorn. And if you look at the kind of investment happening in startups and the areas where they're entering, almost it is into most of the social sector also. Most of the social sectors where the real empowerment, which we are talking about the empowerment, Rusenji, you should see the startups have become the real inspiring people. Though they might make money, but it's a biggest solution. Making money is a part of the project, but most important is what is the solutions. The solutions are the most important thing. They have been addressing many of the challenges what the society has been facing. They are able to address all those challenges very effectively. And there is a competition who is better. Who can be better, a person or a better company or a better platform where we can get effective solution. So in this direction, probably this kind of competition or the solutions been worked out or the innovations been worked out is a way forward. And the state of Karnataka, we have been promoting in a very big way. Innovation has become our culture. Innovation should be our culture. Entrepreneurship should be our culture. Promoting education should be our culture. And promoting the skill. The real empowerment can happen only through these areas. A right education can give a right enlightenment, and he'll know how to live and how to take care of himself. Directly addressing a few aspects will not help. It will not become, it can be only a temporary solution. In this direction, probably we are trying to bring everything together and make it a most happening state and a progressive state. And integration of technology is must and should. It is must and should if you want to really effectively deliver. And with regard to whatever changes being brought up by our government of India with regard to the other, how we are able to transfer money, 19.5 lakh crores, in a second it can be transferred. How much of, even the money not been transferred to any different individual, the very particular person with a unique identity only will get the money, whatever is been earmarked will reach that particular person. The fintech itself, we could see how much transformation based on Aadhaar, how the financial economy has been opened up, the micro payments are happening. So it has made everything easy for every possible services, possible utility services, everything has been simplified. So the theme is appropriate. We need to work and we'll work closely and come together, come within a proper understanding, and we can take it forward, mobilize all possible resources, and even with a small cost, we can do a lot of things. In digital learning, in education, what we have done, digital learning in state of Karnataka, we have spent very little amount, but the impact is whatever was existing standards could have been, it has been improvised by 10 times. Just by bringing digital learning, we're able to improvise and make it very effective, and we can do effective implementation of the national education policy. Like this, there are many solutions. Let us work together, and we need to work closer with the government. Even the government needs to work very closely. Either way, we need to help each other, we need to collaborate with each other, and we need to understand each other, and we need to spend time and understand how we can work close together, and the program's integration should happen. Otherwise, it will not sustain. And many of the topics, I just saw many of the topics which is there for today's discussion. I think those topics are very relevant. Probably it can create a lot of ideas and churn out a lot of ideas, and you can come out with a lot of solution. You can empower yourself, you can strengthen the way you have been doing things and bring a huge transformation. Probably which is very relevant. The topics, today's topics are very relevant, and we need to catch up with those topics and thoughts and work and make a big difference. The country, entire country is looking forward with a lot of expectation. Since they have been connected with all the good things, they can see everything, whatever is happening across the world. Why not me? They might ask, why it is only we see only visually, why it is not been given to me? Since we are connected with the entire world, we could see what are the best things happening. The best things happening, why it is not happening to me, will be a question asked by a common man. So we need to give him an opportunity. Opportunity should be given to perform, and flourish is his choice. But without giving an opportunity, denying him an opportunity is the biggest curse for the society, for each one of us. It is each one of us our duty to ensure everybody should get the equal opportunity. Getting equal opportunity is the most important. In this direction, we need to work, and we need to work towards that. I appreciate the CSR Foundation for coming down to Bangalore and organizing this event in Bengaluru. We appreciate wholeheartedly for organizing such an excellent event, and this is what we are looking forward. You continue to organize year on year. We'll support and we'll extend all our cooperation. Namaskara. Jai Hind. Jai Karnataka.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your thoughts. As you mentioned, Karnataka has been ranked as the most innovative state. Bangalore also has consistently ranked as one of the top cities for starting up in various global rankings. This would not have been possible without the government support. Your work towards supporting startups have also created many entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs too. I'm sure the audience is inspired by your words, and we look forward to seeing how Karnataka leads the innovation and entrepreneurship journey for India. Now, I would request the guests on the dais to join us for lighting of the lamp. Request the dignitaries to just stay on the stage for the mementos. Request Rusen Kumarji to kindly hand over the mementos. to Mr. Mohandas Pai. To Mr. Prashant Prakash. We would also like to inaugurate a book by Mr. Hussain Kumar ji. The book by Mr. Sitaram Gupta. A big thank you to all the dignitaries for being here for today's inaugural session. Thanks to Mr. Hussain Kumar as well as Mr. Aparesh Mishra for organizing this. It is, can we have a huge round of applause? Thank you. So we will now move on. Just want to make an announcement that there is a parallel session that is also happening. It is being hosted by ASSOCHAM, and it is at the 5th floor after this inauguration ceremony. It is moderated by ASSOCHAM Southern Chair Abhishek Ranjan and UCGI, Archana Sahai, CSR APJ at Dell Technologies, Deepak Prabhu-Matti, Global Head Employee Volunteering Program at Cognizant, and Soumya Suryanarayan, Lead Impact and ESG at Avishkar Capital, and also Santosh Abraham, Vice President NASSCOM.